Welcome to the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions, now in its 25th season. Our panel features a longtime Penn State media and NitWits tag team, Neil Rudell of the Altoona Mirror and Mark Brennan of Lions 24/7 with Fight on State. Between them, they've covered Penn State for more than 80 years. The NitWits are hosted by WTAJ's Anderly Penwell, and each week we welcome a former Nittany Lion as our special guest analyst. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By McAleer's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886. By Remax Results Realty Group, committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Star Beverage, no matter what type of weather, we're a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By NovaCare, Altoona and State College, the power of physical therapy. By Fullington Tours, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from locations in State College and Altoona. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
Welcome to Nittany Nation Overtime.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Nittany Nation Overtime. It's the bye-week special. I'm your host, Anderly Penwell, joined, of course, as always, with Mark Brennan and Neil Rudell. And this week's very special guest, our Penn State new athletic director, Dr. Patrick Kraft. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, before we even start, Chris Peterson helped line them up, and Chris said, what's the attire? Is a polo okay? So thank you for setting our dress code.
Well, thank you. It was a little brisk. I wore the vest, plus it hides my rolls.
Look good. Makes
no,
us
I appreciate
feel better.
it. This is more my speed. Yes.
Perfect, PA fall as well.
It really is. It's nice.
So far in Happy Valley, how have you liked it? What's the transition been like here?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been great. Honestly, from a transition, so personally, kids, the winner is they love school, so that helped in the transition. The boss in our house, Annie, she's the third grader, and she loves it. We're at Our Lady of Victory, so that was great. Everybody's settled in, really, really. I mean, the community's been amazing. It's a great place to raise kids, but we got a month in August to really embrace it a little bit. So that's been wonderful. And then from a work, transition, it's been good. It's like drinking out of a fire hose, but it's still coming. But I feel really good. I mean, I'm really proud of our fall teams. Now we've gotten off to a really fast start. We got some work to do, some projects. I'm sure we'll talk about it. But really, for me, the biggest piece was getting in July. I was fortunate enough to come in June while Sandy was here and really get the lay of the land a little bit and not have, to be in the seat, as we say, and be able to talk to the coaches, get a feel for where things are, and so that really helped. So that July 1, we were gone, we were off, and so we were ready to move. So that was really nice. So, but it's been wonderful. People have been amazing. We're on a roll in the fall. We're winning. Winning helps everything.
Yeah, you're 5-0 in football,
yeah,
so
I'll take
that's a running start.
Yeah.
So how does that carry over to everybody in terms of the good feeling and the things you're trying to accomplish?
Well, yeah, it is funny. I mean, you don't want to experience the Monday after a loss is never fun. But at the end of the day, especially here, football is such a behemoth on game day. I mean, it is, having been a visitor, but experiencing it and going through the parking lots and being able to be at the tailgates, it's great. Everyone wants to win. And so I get it. But I do think the success we've had through the early, whether it's field hockey and women's soccer, that momentum has got the department really where everyone feels really good about it. I'm one of those. Nothing's ever as good as it seems. Nothing ever as bad as it seems. So you got to be,
And just real quick for the viewer who might not, Pat played at Indiana.
Yes.
And then he had an extended tenure at Temple
Yeah.
and Boston College.
Yeah, one of the cool things that we've seen is you on the sideline. We actually have some pictures of
Oh,
you
geez.
during plays. But in all seriousness, how important is it for you to be down there, to be part of the whole scene? I mean, you had a feel for what Penn State football was all about as an opponent. But when you're actually down there on the sideline soaking it up, what has that been like for you, and what kind of reactions have you gotten from players and coaches?
Well, here's, and it's not, a lot of people have talked about me being on the side, and honestly, I'm more comfortable there than I am here for sure, but anywhere. I think that's just, I grew up playing football, and I love that energy. But I also, for all of our sports, I like to be there because I think it's really important that our student athletes see that win or lose, I got your back. So I tell them I've got your back no matter what, off the field, on the field. And to me, I think it's a really important sign. And at that point, the hay's in the barn for me, kinda. Like, I am watching what's going on in the building and the presentation and the game presentation. But I'm a fan at that point. And I look at our 800 student athletes like my own 2 children. Like, I want them to succeed. And I want that so bad. And so I'm very passionate about our teams and what we're doing. And so I am, like, on soccer, I sit and stand alone. Like, I just want, it's more about me being able to tell them, hey, I got you, don't worry about it, and a big play. And then I'm a very emotional person. So we go. And so it's just kind of how I am. And I've told people now, like, you know what? This is what you get. I'm all in.
They also gave you that game ball at Purdue.
Yeah, it was
What
cool.
did that mean to you?
A lot. Well, first off, playing at Indiana and then beating Purdue was wonderful. So it wasn't lost on me. No, but I think honestly, being with James and the guys, he does such an incredible job with them, and it almost felt like, okay, I'm part of this.
You're in the club, yeah.
Yeah, like, and we all, no matter, as the athletic director, you want to feel a part of it, and you wanted to, and you got to trust, right? And in it really meant a lot. It's in my office now, and those are really cool moments. You don't forget those moments, and so that was really special.
So far, honestly, I sometimes enjoy watching your reaction than the actual play. Very, very engaged in the football world, obviously.
Yes.
And coming to Beaver Stadium, what's your reaction been to those first couple home games and to taking in the very legendary environment up there?
It's overwhelming in a really good way. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a teammate of mine the other day. I'm like, it's nothing like I ever thought. Like, you come in from the Ramada in as a visitor, and it's people everywhere. Now, what I will tell people is, as a visitor, it's very intimidating. Like, you see it and you're like, wow. Being on the other side and wearing blue and white is much better, but walking through the lots, the RVs, the tailgates, and how important that experience is, and the connection between the team and the school and the community and the fans and alums, and in that building, people like watching the game. Even in the rainstorm, and the students. So I get goosebumps thinking about it. I love that moment of walking out on the field before, like, I'll leave the locker room when the captains and I can walk out. I also want to watch the introduction and stuff like that. So I am working at that point. But to absorb that.
Have you been introduced yet on that?
No, gosh, no, and I don't. No, that's not about me. But I do. It's an amazing experience. There is nothing like it. There truly is nothing like it. Now, I have not lived the whiteout yet. I'm very excited about it. But I think it's that momentum and excitement that makes us really, really special.
So something new this year at Beaver Stadium is the beer sales.
Yes, you've heard.
Yeah, it's just that little thing that's popped up. Very Big Ten on brand. But walk us through kind of what that process has been like for the university, for the athletic department of ushering that in.
Well, I think it went off smooth. Rain helped, right? Because you got to go the first time in, the novelty of it. And so I thought, it was a successful rollout, if you will. I had it at Temple, had it at Boston College. I think 8 of our peers in the Big Ten have it. We've got to start to do some things that help with the experience. And I want to make this clear, too. There is a revenue component to it. There is revenue, and we've got to find ways to increase our revenue because we've got to really put the money in the Beaver Stadium, and we've got to help keep Beaver Stadium and do the enhancements there. So I'm not minimizing that. So there was just a lot that went into it. We have a task force, which is actually very, very good with the docs, whether it's Penn State Health, Mountain Nittany, we have neighborhood folks. So we've started to work through, what does this really look like, even outside of just the beer? What's the experience? And so after game one, there was no issues. But honestly, for me, I've just had it for both forever. And it was, there's data out there that does show it brings the incidence down. And if we can change, then people want to get in a little bit earlier instead of, chugging a beer or whatever in the parking lot, then maybe, it's worth a try, right?
You mentioned Beaver Stadium. How far down the road? I've read some, Q&As with you and the Mark's site and whatnot. Maybe some other sports that need immediate attention, facilities-wise, or where can you give us a glimpse of where Beaver Stadium fits into some of that?
Well, we got to look at it. It's not one or the other. Mm-hmm. We've got to fix our Olympic sport needs. We have to fix. Women's soccer and men's soccer don't have a flushing toilet. They don't have locker rooms. They go to 3 different buildings. It's unacceptable. And we've got 2 teams that can win the national championship this year. Erica and Jeff have done an amazing job with very little resources there. So I have to fix that. Training rooms have to be fixed for our Olympic sports. We're arguably the worst in the Big Ten. Let's just call it what it is. We've got to fix that so we can do those things, and also we have to focus on Beaver Stadium. We've got to make a decision. We, as in leadership, what is that move? Is it renovate? There's talk of build new. I love the building. I feel connected to that building. I walk it by myself. I enjoy it. I look at different ways. We have to if we can renovate it, we can make it. We got to fix concessions, got to fix the bathrooms, got to make the experience better. All of those things can come into play. And I think we're doing studies. We're in the middle of it, and I hope in the not too distant future we'll have an answer. Because we got to. We just got to make a decision and go. You can't. This has been talked about.
Yeah.
Let's go and then make a decision. Then let's figure out how that works. But I will say, Beaver Stadium. It's not, all these other things have to be done as well. We are behind on the bricks and mortar, and we can't be. And if we can give 1% more to these teams, now we're going to do the groundbreaking for field hockey on Sunday, which is huge. Shar did an amazing job raising the money for that. That's what you have to have. And those things are becoming more important. You have to make the athletes' lives easier. It is a difficult time. Training, mental health, food and nutrition, all of those things play into the facilities.
All right, you touched on the whiteout. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk more whiteout and other fun stuff with Penn State football. Don't go anywhere.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntingdon. And by McAlear's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Hi, and welcome back to Nittany Nation Overtime. We're, of course, joined by Dr. Patrick Kraft. So a huge thing, obviously, in the college sports world the last year has been NIL, the wild, wild west of it. From a AD perspective, how are we tackling this whole, I don't even know if you want to call it what adjective you want to describe this whole situation as. What's the Penn State approach in your mind?
Well, honestly, we had to, when I talk about getting here in June, that was one of the things that we were very, very far behind. We were a year behind, candidly, and so we've been able to start to focus. We've had all the collectives. The Success with Honor Collective has done a great job because it's all 31 teams. And people think the story's about football and basketball, but really it's everybody, and it's a social media presence. So we've been able to do a lot of things supporting that, selling jerseys, we're getting that rolling out, group licensing, working with our corporate sponsors to make sure that they understand it. It's really educating people. That's really the big piece, because for years, it's odd for me. Let me just say that wait, you can make $100,000? What? It was counter to everything we've done. So we're really trying to we're becoming more and more proactive. You're seeing more advertisements about, now the booster clubs can get involved in it. And so I think it really comes down to education and the communication piece. It's okay, everybody. That's the way to support it.
Pat, looking at things a little bit differently, you said when you came in that you thought you were behind. Let's reverse engineer that. When you look around the country, which programs are you looking at maybe that are at this top tier, and how far away are you from getting to where you need to be with those programs?
Here's what I would say. I don't look at it because what you hear is not true. These big numbers that are giving, and Some programs are doing it the wrong way.
13 million. Is that number?
Right. Or a single recruit getting X
$8
number
million
of dollars.
Yeah, right. So I don't measure us there. I do feel we're getting closer and closer to where we need to be because we're offering. My take on NIL is here's all the opportunities. When you come to Penn State, you should be able to do everything that you want. My thing is I got to protect you because there's a lot of sharks that want to give you. I want 10% of your lifetime earnings. I'll give you $250,000. Well, you're a first-round pick. Do you know what you're leaving on the table? So stuff like that is what but I think we're getting to a place now that all the opportunities that everybody else in the country has, you open up and you get recruited by us. Here's what oh, by the way, you also have 750,000 alums. You have the Penn State brand. You have all these things and guidelines to do it and protect you. That's here, when you come here, that's what it's about. We're really, really close now. Collectives are it's a different animal altogether. And
Yeah.
I like the thing that was mentioned about the insurance for the players.
and
Disability insurance.
that's great, and we do that with a lot of our athletes as well. And we currently do that, but it's a new spin on it, right? And I think it's good. My thing is to make sure that they're doing the work, make sure they're doing this the right way. We're not going to go the other way.
I'm sorry. From the education perspective, the question that I hear all the time is, okay, I'm a fan. I'm donating this much to get season tickets already, and now you're asking me for more. So, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate there, but that's what people are trying to wrap their heads around. How difficult is it to get, hey, if you want to compete, this is what we need to do?
Yeah, no, that's the issue. And what I tell the people, especially here at Penn State, is we're so big that you can do what you're comfortable with. Because they're like, oh, it's going to ruin our raising money for facilities. It's not. People want to do one thing or they want to do it. We've actually had some other non-Penn Staters give to NIL because they're not engaged in the soccer facility. They want to be a part of the football team or the wrestling program, and this is the way they can do it. And so it's really letting the donor, you do what you want to do. Either way, it helps us. Either way.
Is it all part of the process with getting people used to the idea that this is a reality?
That's right.
You're going to have to pay these, come up with a way that these players can make some money.
But look, it is counter to everything we all grew up with. It true, like at BC, we had a young man who got a car, and it was the first big deal we had. And I actually had that's hard, but it's the world we're in right now, and you've got to be able to understand.
It was weird initially to see the first couple
Right?
Instagram posts of people and be like, "This is
Hey, look at me! We're promoting it. It's like, ah.
So we could talk NIL forever. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, more Penn State football.
The NitWits are being brought to you by RE/MAX Results Realty Group, committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service. By Dorman's Jewelry. The answer is always Dorman's. By Star Beverage. No matter what type of weather, we're a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. And by Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back to Nittany Nation bi-week edition. We're, of course, joined by Penn State AD Dr. Patrick Kraft. So with some of the non-conference scheduling, when Penn State goes and plays an SEC opponent in Auburn, what does it mean for the program to be able to build? I mean, the SEC is the standard of college football.
No, it's not. The Big Ten is the standard.
Okay.
It means more in the Big Ten. Sorry to interrupt you. Those games are they are important. They're program builders. I mean, to go there, and there is this rivalry between the SEC and the Big Ten.
There's a better way of phrasing
Yes.
it. There we go.
James kind of made it clear that he's not looking for those. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think it's got to be
a lot of the fans enjoyed it and they played great.
They did, but you've got the way I look at scheduling is there is a science to how you schedule, and I don't like the fact that we've been on the road. You open up at Purdue on the road, and then you've got. I mean, those. You're also going through the Big Ten right now. Now we've got. I'm not looking forward, but you got 3 games that are going to be really tough, and so I think it's a mix of scheduling games and where they're at. Yeah, you want to go play people, you want to go play, but the SEC. I mean, you got to pick those spots where you feel like it's a good fit for you.
How do you feel about other sports as well? The basketballs, the volleyballs, all of those other sports with those non-conference?
No, I think that's so football's a little, because football is a math equation. You got to get to. Here's what I would say, and I'm really this is the PhD nerd in me. There's the analytics to it, like basketball. We're build a schedule to get you into the NCAAs, but programs are all at different points. So I ask our coaches, is this a at-large schedule, or is this to get wins, build confidence schedule? And the ebb and flow is different for everybody. When you got 31 teams, it's so different. Like, we got national championship college. We got to go on the road and go play. Women's soccer went to Stanford to go play. That's a hard trip, but that's good to get that experience because they're going to be in the NCAAs and they've got to go win those games. It's so different. Basketball, using the metrics, how do we get these, sometimes a loss to a good team on the road is better than beating a subpar team at home. And really understanding how you build that. Football's similar. It's just you got to win. You got to win. 6 gets you to the bowl. You got to win 10, 11 to get in there. And so there is a science to it.
There are so many eyes on the football program, obviously, and one thing that James sort of alluded to recently was that they nearly lost a recruit because the recruit might not have been able to have his own room. When it comes to football housing, are you guys where you need to be? And then something like training table, where your situation is sort of unique, where guys have to move relatively far to get to training table, and not just for the football players, but for I think a lot of athletes that an issue. Yeah.
So 2 things. I think the housing thing has become a more recent piece that we're actually looking at. How do we do it? But here's why: it is really hard. Our athletes, I want to be together. I think you build a cohort if your freshmen are living together and can grow together and go through different. Their day is so vastly different. So I do think that's important, and how we're doing that. We're working with the leadership to figure out how that would work. The training table is real. We don't have a communal spot for all our athletes to get together and break bread. We just don't. The way our buildings are, I want them to have a place that there's not someone looking over their shoulder like, hey, are you doing school? That they can be students. And training tables. So we have a plan actually we're working on right now as we talk about facilities to get us to do a training table for all athletes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that they can come in, get meals, we can use it for event space, but that they're together. And the more we come together, we use this, I use this now, it's like lions hunting packs. I was like, go be lions. But we got to come and stick together. And those types of things help that camaraderie in the building. But yeah, the training table's real. Nutrition's real.
So a bunch of great stuff here. Unfortunately, we have to take one last quick break. I know, we could talk forever. Don't go anywhere.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Fullington Tours, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from locations in State College and Altoona. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
One final block of Nittany Nation Overtime bye week. We got some final thoughts here, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State obviously was a fractured community at one time. It's healing. Had you been around Joe? Did you have any rapport with him?
I did. It's funny. I told a story at my press conference. We got stuck here at the Ramada Inn, and Joe got up he met us at like 6 a.m. or early to send us on our way. He was amazing.
Indiana.
Yeah, that's right. The other end. Yeah, but I will say we all waited in line because we thought that was the last time he was going to retire. So he went on for 10 more years. We all shook his hand to shake his hand. So we had that interaction there, which was really very, very cool. He came to the hotel. We were all sleeping in the lobby. That's good. So it was good. It was good. We are stronger as a community together, though. That's the power of Penn State. Come together.
I also think it's cool that you struck up a friendship with Spider, which
That's
is
my guy.
People. Spider's been on the show. So
Yeah.
People
of course, of course. I tell you, the first person I saw when I came up the escalator was Spider, and it was like that's what it's supposed to look like. He's the best.
He's a nitwit.
I love it. Am I a nitwit?
You are
Yes,
now.
you are. Now you are.
Nice.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you, Pat.
Everyone enjoy the bye week. What do we do with ourselves with no football?
We'll make our Michigan picks online.
Yes, we will make our Michigan picks online, so stay tuned for that. Then we got a whole fun week and a whole bunch of other crazy Penn State football coming up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
The NitWits have been brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solaney Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntingdon. By McAleer's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886. By RE/MAX Results Realty Group, committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Star Beverage, no matter what type of weather, we're a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By NovaCare, Altoona and State College, we proudly support Penn State football. By Fullington Tours, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from locations in State College and Altoona. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.